now to our first conversation. Nigeria's oil refining capacity, fuel prices and inflation are closely intertwined, impacting the country's economy and everyday life. Despite being one of the largest oil producers in Africa, Nigeria has struggled with limited refining capacity. But with the emergence of the Dangote Refinery and coming online of state-owned refineries, Nigeria is gearing for PMS production with export prospects. But how do we determine the price of PMS in Nigeria, seeing what's playing out so far? Let's discuss this now with Professor Adeola Adeniki, who is the president of the Nigerian Economic Summit, joining me right here in the studio. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ladi.
You know, Prof, I've been trying to get this interview for the longest time, and finally, because of your busy, schedule, I was able to land you for this one. But thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
For coming today.
Right.
And I don't know when last you bought fuel.
Yeah, a few days ago.
Yeah, what price did you get it at this point?
Well, my driver did. I think it was. I think the price is coming down.
Right. Yes.
From what so which is good for consumers.
Right.
Yeah.
Really good for consumers,
Yeah.
and I hope it goes lower. And I'm sure some of us consumers are praying it goes lower. But seeing this downward price movement, and seeing what's playing out with the Dangote Refinery, oil marketers, and the NNPCL, at this point. And there's some kind of price determination, mechanism playing out at this point. And it seems Dangote Refinery is the price leader, or the price setter,
right?
At this point.
Right.
So how are you seeing all that's playing out now, right here?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting. Many years ago, actually, my PhD thesis, was actually on efficient energy pricing. That was about 30 years ago, and it's interesting that most of what I predicted at that time, what is playing out in the industry now. Now we're getting to a place where the interplay, the competition, among these players, Dangote, NNPC in particular, and import, is going to lead to a situation where we'll have something that is close to an efficient price in the industry. And with that, you're then going to have two possibilities. One possibility is that the producers who are not efficient, may either exit the industry, you have a situation where you have more people, more players coming, and I foresee more players are going to come in. Why? Because one, you have a situation where the price is market determined. Two, you have a situation where some of the local producers, regional producers, are likely to set up modular refineries, so as to ensure that they diversify their income base, instead of just exporting. So they want to say, look, let's take advantage of the domestic market. So a lot of investment will come into the downstream, and I think that is going to be good. The only concern that I have, and I think the regulators also have to be very careful about this, is to ensure that this competition is healthy. Healthy in the sense that nobody is trying to be, a market leader is not trying to chase away competition, and deliberately, because it's possible, in other price or some of the pricing system we have, where a competitor, a producer, then they set the price so low, so that in the short run, it's going to get some losses, based on losses or marginal profit, so as to get out of the market, high-cost producers, Those are higher-cost producers, and eventually when they exit, then it brings up the price again, and then dominates the market. And at that time, it's able to exercise monopoly power, which would be to the disadvantage of consumers.
So, it's quite interesting. It seems, when you look at Africa, and you look at most of the oil producers, they seem to have maybe just, one or two refineries. And if we take a look at, let's say, a country like South Africa now, let's look at, some of these countries. Nigeria, definitely, we have the Port Harcourt Refinery, Warri Refinery, Kaduna Refinery, and Dangote Refinery. The other two, we're seeing them come online, at this point. South Africa, we have Engen Refinery, Sapref, Caltex, Natref, Bay Refinery. So that's about five. In South Africa, they're giants when it comes to refining. In Ghana, Tema Oil, Platin Gas Refinery, Aquaba, Angola. I think they have about two major refineries in Angola, Luanda Refinery and the Cabinda Refinery. So, looking at Africa, at this point, it seems we're lagging behind when it comes to, producing refineries in the continent. What do you think is the right amount of refineries a country, should have? A country like Nigeria, a big oil producer, at this point. And we also have state-owned and private, at this point. Who should dominate, state-owned or private?
I think the market forces we should determine that. I don't think we need to come up with what is the optimal number, okay? Businesses go into a sector when there's profit, when there are opportunities there, okay? And the more the number, I think the better for competition, okay? And like I said, in the case of Nigeria, one good thing is that you have a lot of, because we are an oil producing country, we also have a number of, marginal oil-free producers, indigenous oil-free producers, who are likely to go into refinery. It's going to be very small, modular, some 1,000 barrels per day, some, a bit greater than that. But as much as they are efficient, okay, as much as they are able to have some competition, because what I fear most in this sector is, dominance by one player that is able to exercise market power. Once you're able to exercise market power, the industry becomes inefficient, because then you determine what the price is.
Do you think it's too early to be afraid of?
Yeah, it's too early.
Having a monopolist, in the market, because we didn't have a functioning refinery,
right?
Before the Dangote refinery came online, and now we're seeing state-owned refineries, come online, at this time. So, what can we do to de-risk, the industry, at this point, from having a monopoly? Is it possible at this point?
Yeah, no, I think the regulators should just be on the lookout. Should also have their template, for instance, to determine what is the margin, okay, for pricing of these products. There should be a margin based on the marginal cost and other costs that are likely to incur. So they should have some range that will tell you, okay, that look, if you are very efficient, this is the range of price that you are looking at, okay, and then given plus or minus around that, so that they can know whether any of the players is deliberately embarking on some price strategy to undercut the other players in the industry. But what we have now is healthy, okay? It's healthy in the sense that hopefully the Dangote refinery is very efficient. That's why it's able to, drive down the price, and is then forcing the government producing, the refineries to also follow suit. Okay, so hopefully that is coming from efficiency. Now that is good for the market, and we should also allow for import. I don't believe we should get to a situation where we say, oh, we don't have to. We should close the door on import. The import should also be there as a check. Okay, to ensure that any time any of these players, want to take advantage of the market, that other people can bring in their products.
But doesn't that put pressure on the Naira, at this point, if we still carry on with, encouraging some form of importation?
I'm not saying encouraging. I'm simply saying that we should have a bulwark that should serve as a check against any of the players trying to take advantage of the market. You see, because at the end of the day, when you close import, what you are doing is you are encouraging, or you are somehow, I don't want to use the subsidy, the producer. You are on the side of the producers and against the consumers. But once you allow market to play out, either through import or bringing, entry into the market, then the consumers become the king, and that's what we want. In the economy to take place, that the consumers are able to get value for the money they spend. Because look at it now. We came from 175 naira per liters. Okay, it went to over 1,000. Now it's coming back. But substantially, it is a huge increase from where we were in 2023.
Well, I still can't get used to these prices, no matter.
It's huge. The difference is really huge. So in terms of the consumers now, consumers are spending more proportion of their income on fuel and fuel-related expenses.
Right, and we keep talking about the regulator, at this point. What should the regulator be doing, right now?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we have other players that want to come into this market. Oh, when you say coming into this market, do you think it's an easy market to actually come into?
It's not. It's not.
And will it get harder, going forward?
It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder in the sense that if you are a small player and you are not efficient, okay. Nowadays you have modular refinery. Scale is not necessarily an advantage, okay, because you have modular refineries, small but efficient, okay. Now, it is going to be a lot more difficult because you have now players who are determined to ensure that this market, okay, they keep it, it's not as open for everybody as, it's not open to everybody. I think that is the long-term strategy that I'm seeing, okay. There's a lot of investment that have been made, okay, and therefore you want to ensure, okay, that you protect that investment. But the good thing also, Ladi, I think you made reference to it, is that there are also possibility for exports. Okay, so the players should not just be looking at Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria has an advantage because we produce this crude. Okay, and if our refinery is very efficient, then we should be able to produce at a cost that will enable us to penetrate, some of the neighboring countries where they are oil importers. So I think, and that is what the discussion, in my view, that the regulator should be having. Okay, the regulator should not be fighting on the players. It should not seem as if it's adversarial. Okay, it's to bring them to the table and say, okay, what do we need? Okay, because the opportunity should not be just for us to be self-sufficient, to meet domestic needs, save imports, save spending money on imports, but we can earn a lot of money, okay, by going to many of these African countries, taking advantage of AFTA, and then promoting Nigeria's access into any one of this market. So that should be the goal. So if that is possible, then a lot of people can come in. A lot of players can come into the sector, remain domestic markets, meet around your area, so that some of the transportation costs will be reduced to the consumers in that neighborhood.
Right, because another issue, when it comes to pricing, is logistics.
Right.
Around the distribution of the product. What are we doing right now, and what do you think we should do better?
Yeah. I hate these trucks on the road.
I don't like them too. I don't like seeing this.
And I think Nigeria is the only country where, you have to move petrol products over thousands, hundreds of miles using tankers. It's not efficient, and it has not always been like that. That is why I think I'm excited by what is going in the sector now. Because like I said, I've been looking at this sector. My PhD thesis was on this. Is that once this deregulation fully takes place, okay, and you have investment going to depots, going to pipelines, going to So what basically should happen is from the refineries, okay, you just put these products into pipelines. It goes to depots in the various states, and then all the tanker draws, it will just come and take from the depot to nearby, petrol stations. We need to get back to that, okay? So the regulators and the governments will now find a way of creating those incentives that will allow for more investments, in pipelines, because that is the most efficient way, or using train. Okay, I was in Canada some sometimes last year, and I was excited when I see train, with carrying stocks of fuel, from one part to another, so that is what we need to do to enhance logistics, to reduce some of the logistics.
And that will help also de-risk our roads, at this point, because I get a lot of anxiety when I'm driving and I see a tanker just coming beside me. I want to move faster.
It's not just you. I mean, we've lost so many lives,
right,
needlessly. 1, 2. I mean, the roads have been compromised. It's roads that were supposed to last for many years. The tankers have destroyed it. We have thousands on the roads. They are very, very inefficient. They are risky. And therefore, the next phase of this regulation should be how to take them off. At least, I know now they've said that trucks with 60,000
limiting the what you can carry.
Yeah, but we need to go do more, to encourage investment in the sector.
All right, so Prof, we have January inflation, the rebased numbers, and coming out at about 24%. And with what you're seeing playing out, with PMS prices and expectations, going further, hopefully prices go lower. Do you think we're going down from here when it comes to inflation in January and other months coming? With the rebased data?
Yeah, with the rebased data. My hunch is that yes, okay? But how far we can go would there become an interplay of a number of factors, okay? Because we get to a point where prices become sticky, downwards in particular. I remember in 2018, 2019, when I was still in the FPC, that we got to a place where no matter what we were doing, the prices were just not moving. They became very sticky, but we're not yet there. So with the rebased figures that we have now, and with what is going on in the petrol market, and the exchange rate that is also appreciating, albeit marginally, you're likely going to see some downward trend, okay? And hopefully that also lead the FPC to start unwinding, and that will also force interest rates to make take interest rates to start going down. So all those combinations are likely to exert some downward trend, okay? But then the price of crude depends on a lot of factors,
yeah, we're seeing crude prices down.
So it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on, the American government is doing so much trying to trouble the global market, the global trade. And how that plays out will also impact on, what is happening to crude price, so the exchange rate, global economy, and all of that will have implications on, the directions of inflation in Nigeria.
Right. I guess it's 2025 is looking very interesting.
Very interesting, unpredictable.
Oh, very unpredictable.
The uncertainties are just, they're much higher now.
And investors still have to make a decision.
They still have to make a decision.
Quite incredible. Thank you so much. It was great having you, Professor Adeola Denikinju, the President, the Nigerian Economic Summit.
Society. Sorry.
The Nigerian Economic Society.
Right. Sorry.
Thank you so much for that correction. All right. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we're heading straight to find out what played out in the fixed income market and FX market. That's in February, and what to expect in March. That's next. Just stay with us.